Hello everybody, my name is Madman, I'm a competitive Splatoon coach and analyst, and today I'm going to be going over some replays of me playing X-Rank that I think I did well in, so I want to explain what I was doing and how you can try and implement that into your own gameplay, specifically if you play Wellstring like me. So we're starting this first match, Hammerhead Rainmaker. We have a little bit slower of a comp. We have Heavy Splatting and Blob, and the opposing team's comp has a lot of paint. I mean, we do too, but they have a reflux, so it's a bit more than us. But we can try and get pop here. They do have Shredders on their Wellstring, I believe, so it is a bit harder, but we do get it, opening because we're faster. And we're going to try and pressure at them as much as we can. We see this Booyah, so we want to pressure and take attention from it. It's going to push us. We're going to pre-fire this Flux so that it runs into our bullets, which we do get. Then we need to redirect our attention to mid immediately. We see the Wave Breaker, we one-shot it. And we want to try and get that jump and that heavy at the same time with that hammer throw, because that would get us the most value. We don't get the Wellstring until a little bit later though. And we want to try and move in front of our team because normally Wellstring would grab because it's the slowest weapon on the comp, but in this comp we have a Blob and Heavy that would rather grab. We're trying to pressure as much aggressively as we can. We do end up dying to the reflux, diving us a little bit of a whiff, but it's not a big deal right now. We have our whole team alive. We can jump back in. We want to get back on that plat, trying to deny them. We see someone get up, so we chip down a good bit. We want to pressure the Rainmaker more than we need to pressure that Wavebreaker right now. And it's just a Flux, we want to watch for jumps. We're trying to put that auto bomb and put pressure there for when they do jump. We get chipped a bit from a burst, but it's not anything lethal. We started hammering up, trying to put some more pressure forward because we just have some tools to move with. So getting that pressure is really good. We're low right now, so we have to play under these ledges to just get pressure on that heavy splatting without getting ourselves in trouble. We'll try and get pop, but to slow it down, but we aren't going to be able to because they all have their pressure there, but either way, it just slows them down from getting ramp. We do die to Hammer plus Burst Bomb, which is something that we can't really avoid, sadly. We jump back in on the ramp. You want to keep pressure on this map. Jumping in on this map is very key because it's very long, so keeping that pressure up is, first of all, the whole entire thing that I'm trying to make important is that we're keeping up pressure. As we've kind of been able to tell, we toss this hammer as soon as they start looking like they're going to go to get a check, because we want to keep that pressure up. We can't run in with the hammer into their comp really easily. And then we get a really nice snipe here. And we're able to move up quickly. We go get pop and we start taking space immediately. Heavy splatting's a little worrying. We play around the checkpoint for cover so that we don't die. And we have hammer. We want to push up with it. We can't commit too hard yet though with the rush mode. We can catch that reflux off and toss it where they're going to be. Someone's behind me. I heard them and we were trying to keep up pressure forward, and I ended up being able to turn around and get them after we got Rainmaker a bit further, and we do get pop. We pressure out this reflux from certain angles, make it hard for it to protect us. We try and hammer forward a little, but we don't commit because their whole entire comp can deny us. We toss it at the heavy because it looks like it's going to be still. We get that pick, and we predict the Wellstring running at us with hammer because it had hammer. We biff on that pick, but it's fine. We have enough pressure up, and we had enough people that dying there wasn't that bad. We are able to keep our position very well. We jump in once again because it's really important on this map because it's so long. Even if it's not the safest, it's typically good to jump in. We want to keep pressure on that pop because the Wellstring's not looking at it right now. And if the Wellstring's not looking at it, we can probably get it. We want to try and pressure this heavy splatting, but we don't want to commit too hard because it can punish us very easily. And I ended up not seeing the splash on the right side, so I ended up getting picked off. But we're gonna jump back in here once again because we need that pressure. We go for the one-shot on the crab because it's on a small area, I can't really move from it, and we do end up getting it. It takes a lot of mechanical skill to get that, but we would have died if we didn't go for it. So, we kind of had to. As soon as we see that Wellstring swimming up to us, we kind of have to expect the hammer, so we have to give it some room. I get a nice one-shot on the splash, and I try and keep pressure on pop, but there's just too much. I couldn't really do much after that. So we're getting pushed for like the first time in the match, so we want to, like, because the timer's really low, we want to try and play for hammer and play for stall, because we don't want them to be able to make a reverse sweep, because like, right now, we have a really good lead that's going to be hard for them to move with. I try and hammer to pressure the Rainmaker, and then I try and defend myself against the flex, but I ended up dying to the Rainmaker shot that was there. It didn't really matter too much anyways, since I still got attention and took some time away from them, which they ended up not being able to move up at all because the reflux was overcommitting me, and one of our teammates is able to get the pick on the Rainmaker from a flank, and we win the game. So I know that was a lot of words, but for the most part, pretty much, we're just trying to keep up pressure a lot of the time without necessarily risking ourselves too much until we can actually afford to risk ourselves. So then we're going to be looking at game number 2. Game number 2, I believe, also is on Hammerhead. Yes. This one, we are going against a top 500 Dapple player, and like, it's going to be kind of difficult for us to fight that, because Dapples are able to dodge us very effectively, but we can try and space it out as much as we can. The comps this time are a lot more aggressive. I believe this Wellstring also has Shredder. I played a little bit more passive on the opening because I didn't want to get dived. We see someone on the bottom right, so we instantly pressure that, and we pressure mid as well when we see someone commit there. When they're down, we start putting our pressure a lot more forward, and we start taking that space and asserting it, because they don't want to fight when they're down, so we can just use that to scare them. We're pressuring this, they're going to drop on us because it's a Dapple, so our hammer is going to be able to prevent that. We see the Wellstring try and go top left, so we just toss our hammer. We got another good 25 points. I mechanically kind of whiffed getting that pop, it would have traded down, and I didn't see the throw, so that was sad. But in general, we got a really good opening by just waiting to punish them and then start forcing everything. Right now, we're just going to keep pressure on this Rainmaker and see if we can get pop, because we do have objects for Sploosh on our team. And we're just going to try and keep pressure for jumps right now because we're down. So we're trying to pressure this hammer. We don't see it move up on us though, so we end up dying to it, and that's really not good. So what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and keep control of this ramp, because they have to push like most of the way up that ramp to actually get lead. So for the most part, we don't have to worry about it. I take a nice shot on the bot that I see and try and go for pop once they are like trying to go for it themselves and they don't really have the tools to. We see the Dapple there, so we pop hammer when it gets close. Instantly look for how the Dapple got there. We see a beacon behind, so we just break it and move forward. And once our teammate dies, we're going to try and go for that pop immediately, and that repop is extremely valuable, getting 2, and we try and run it for a few extra points. It takes a bit of attention, and we get to assert some more control. So, we see a hammer on our jump. We're trying to protect our teammate. We can't really get it, and we aren't going to be able to fight that hammer, so we ended up just backing off and jumping out. We jumped back into our teammate that newly repositioned there. We weren't able to jump out to them at the time, so we just had to settle with this. We're going to put up some pressure passively. They can't really fight us. They're going to try and put splash down, because like we see on the HUD on their inkling that they have their special, so we have to be wary about what they're going to try and do with that. We're trying to those like free fire where they want to go and restrict their movement and not enable them to move forward. And we are kind of getting pressured out by that Rainmaker, and it makes it really hard for us to see the hammer pushing up. and we ended up going down, but our position was fine, and they weren't able to move up first anyways, so it ended up being fine anyways. We try and help fight that guy, our teammates get him first, and we try and move up. We don't really want to grab the Rainmaker here necessarily because we already got a really, really good push that's going to be really hard for us to beat. And grabbing the Rainmaker just puts us at an inherent disadvantage that we don't need to be taking. And we just want to keep up pressure on them so they can't push anyways. Somebody's going on behind us, so we're just going to be sharking until we get the opportunity to move up. We get 2 with this hammer, and then we try and toss it at the dapple. They do jump out, but I see that they're going to jump out to the knot because the knot's the furthest forward. I ended up pre-firing the dapple when it grabbed. I don't really know why it grabbed, but we ended up being able to punish it anyways. Because the Rainmaker's just lying there in mid and we have an advantage, we want to try and move it up anyways to make it harder for them to actually get that pushback. We ended up getting a wipe, which is very nice. And we're not quite able to KO yet because the Wellstring did that, and there's also a beacon by the pop right now, but our teammates are able to get it anyways. So we were able to afford running for the KO and for those, like, not even extra points, but just putting the Rainmaker further up because we got the opportunity to push it up, which would make it harder for the opponents to push it back. We stalled really well there with the Rainmaker and being patient about it, so we didn't try and move it when we couldn't afford to. So we're going on into this next game. This one's actually going to be on Hotel, which is a bit weirder of a map with how it's separated between the bridge and the low ground. We have a bit more of an aggressive comp than them. They have not really many specials to move up with. Having double wave breaker isn't very effective for them. We're gonna play on low ground because we expected our rapid to go high, but they just switched off and they went low ground as well. We're gonna keep up pressure though. We go down, but we don't want to necessarily lose our positioning. We're just gonna keep up pressure as much as we can for where we expect them to be. Once we see that torp, we know the dapple's gonna be pushing us. We're trying to play really passive into them. And I ended up messing up the hammer throw mechanically, but it didn't really matter. They didn't get a lot of points. We're gonna throw that autobomb and get pop really quickly so that we can try and counter push because they don't have the resources. Then 2 of our teammates, actually 3 now, go down. So we're gonna play really, really solid here, and we're gonna put it in this corner for a bit, so it becomes really hard for them to push. Even if they do get the pick. I end up getting torqued a lot, so I'm trying to play in a spot where I don't just die from the chip. So I ended up putting myself on this ramp, and my teammates are dying again, which we end up going 3 down once again, so we just have to play this really stally until we get some sort of opportunity to move the Rainmaker. I end up getting 2 with this, and I'm running low on my timer, so I kind of just drop into the dapples to move it forward and not explode, and I ended up getting the pick as well. So that was very useful. Just like Hammerhead, this is also a pretty long map, so we want to make sure that we get our jumps in as much as possible. Jumps are important on like every map, but it's especially important on like these 2 because of just how long they are. It takes way too long to swim back. We're going to be pressuring this Wellstring because we're seeing our teammates trying to move there, and we are going to be able to get that pick. I remember last time I grabbed the Rainmaker, it didn't fare well for my teammates, so I have my Rapid grab it instead, and I start playing around aggression for moving our Rainmaker forward. We end up getting a lot of points. I don't really see why we went right when we just got left check. I kind of ignored the dapple to get pop, which ended up being like fine. We ended up getting pushed to 12, but we do end up dying anyways for it, and the rest of the team ends up following. We want to try and get that space in mid immediately to try and slow them down. We pre-fire the block because a lot of people try and run up there and try and take bridge because bridge is really important, so we end up getting a pick with that. We see the Rainmakers in this really annoying corner to push, so we're not going to try too hard to get pop on it. We're just going to pressure it so the opponents don't get it. we do eventually get it on ourselves, but it doesn't really matter too much. We don't have anywhere else to pressure right now, really. And moving forward doesn't really seem like the best option when we're down. So we're just kind of waiting, trying to look for something sharking. We do eventually find a dapple. We get a punish on it with the hammer. We had to jump off to prevent it from killing us first, though. We're gonna shoot this over the ledge because we expect someone to be around there trying to prevent them from getting checked, and we do pick the Wellstring with that. We're gonna pressure this heavy splatling. We see it go to the right, so we can immediately assume it's gonna go up there. And it was going up there. Our teammate got it instead, though. We get popped because we had nothing else to do in the situation. We see the Wellstrings going top right, so we pre-fire that. It's dead. Insane shot from me. I get another one with an auto bomb that I just threw out my teammate's fight, which, like, auto bombs don't typically do that, but it can be useful sometimes to just throw them. So we're seeing a lot of stuff going on around here, and we just want to stay away from all this pressure. And we ended up trying to, like, back up and fight this heavy splatling. Misclick, my bad. But we can't necessarily just keep looking at it, because otherwise we're going to get pushed. So we turn around, catch the Wellstring pushing us, and we are able to pick that, but we get stuck in this corner trying to jump out, but we didn't quite have somewhere to jump immediately, and we wouldn't have made it anyways, because the splatling was kind of pinstring us. Just kind of unfortunate with how we got pushed there. But we were able to stall all of time, and time is everything, especially in Rainmaker. We're seeing the restarter take bridge, so we're instantly trying to keep this Rainmaker in the corner and not let it move. It's not got a lot of time left, so we're just trying to disable it. I don't really know why they went up here, but I'm just gonna pop error and push it and then try and continue after. I see the cooler, so I want to go and grab that while I move up. I'm gonna toss this on the bridge because people typically go there, and I found one with that pick, so that pretty much is just game over. I just get a little damage on pop so it doesn't explode, and then we get the win. So ultimately, a lot of what I'm doing with my gameplay is trying to keep up as much pressure as possible whenever I can, and sometimes I'm able to take risks by trying to move up when we have some sort of advantage, like mostly numbers, but sometimes cooler. Like, if I have cooler and there's equal advantage on the field, I'm able to play a lot more risky. And while I wasn't taking quite as many risks in those games as I normally would in a competitive environment, I do think that it's like very important, like, just for us to understand it, because like in these games we were playing with a lot slower comps with 2 or 3 backlines typically, and it led to us not being able to commit as much because our weapon doesn't really succeed in those environments. So I hope this was helpful for some of you. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.